Welcome to all the Aries subscribers for your Aries August 2020 reading, and it's great to see you back again. Now, next month's reading will be published on Wednesday the 12th of August at 2 p.m. New York time. But some of the people have been asking to see what this picture is behind me, so let's have a quick look at that. But having seen that, let's pull the cards now for you Aries tarot lovers. Aries, August 2020. Let's see what there is here, shall we? And see what is in store. The Master of Swords. The Master of Swords. I think you'll be quite taken by the artwork on this deck. It's really rather interesting, I think. There is the Star. It's a beautiful card. Here is the Server of Swords. Cutting away the illusion, I think. There is the Seven of Wands. Opening up to the angels, I think, perhaps. And let's see finally what there is in store for you, and then we'll do the reading. Here is the Crone, Major Arcana number 9, the Crone. Look, I'll bring the camera around so you can have a good close look at these cards while I do the reading for you. All right, Aries, let's have a look at this card in the middle first. This is, now what's it say up here? It says, cutting away illusion. Well, the Server of Swords, obviously a man or a woman, I think. Well, what I get from this is that this person here wields the sword in the service of truth. He, although I see this as very feminine energy here, is using awareness to see what is false and combines this with good communication skills to confront others on their personal baggage. While the sword is often seen as a means of self-protection, here I think it is being used by you to free others from their illusion. Now, this Server of Swords is a warrior, not an aggressive warrior, but a spiritual one. Now, this person is a warrior because he is willing to do battle rather than stay comfortable or safe. He is willing to put himself out for the sake of a larger cause. Although I'm using the masculine pronoun here in keeping with the male image of the card, we can all embody this energy. In this picture, the man has taken a stance with his feet planted firmly on the ground and his sword is drawn, ready to cut away illusion. The card, I think, represents for you the art of skillful confrontation. It is about helping others to see where they are not free. This person seeks only that others see the truth more clearly. Whether or not they want to change, of course, is up to them. I think that this card coming up in the middle here is saying to you that you need to confront somebody in your life. It may also be that you need to confront yourself. Although I do very much get this energy of helping others here, so take the time to get a clear picture of yourself and practice your communication skills if you are uncertain. Now, I think the people who are going to be important to you during this period are Aquarius in particular, and probably Pisces and Capricorn as well. I think what we can also say about this card is this, that this is really, I think, a time in your life where you will be clever in practical matters, especially where there are arguments or disagreements concerned. Now, this person, I think, can have a destructive way of analyzing things, and I'm getting that, of course, from the sword, and a person who can be very aggressive and vengeful, but very forward and outgoing in your manner. I think you'll be able to get your ideas grounded in a tangible way. It may well be that you are fighting battles internally and externally, but you will be very skillful in the settlement of arguments and disputes. And this speaks to me, I think, someone who is following their own bent, somebody who, if you like, throws everything overboard, and yet in time it is shown that you have taken the right decision. Let's have a look at this next card here, which is also in the suit of swords. And let's have a look at this. What's this thing here? Reading the web. Well, I wonder what that means. Let me see if I can make some sense of it. You're in focus? There you go. Well, the first thing that I will say is that I'm getting a great degree of Gemini around here, and also of Taurus. Now, this is the Master of Swords. Well, the suit of swords is about the patterns behind manifestation. And the Master, but of course this can also be female, is one who is very good in working out these patterns. The Master knows how to read the web of interconnected force fields holding us all. Let me pull this out a little bit. There we go. Now, he or she is the equivalent of, here, what I would consider many people might call a shaman, who can journey into interdimensional space and obtain information and adjust the patterns when this is useful. Now, if I'm looking at the imagery on this card, and we'll have a look at it here, you might remember last month we talked about some of the Nordic runes. Well, this imagery seems to be influenced by the Old Norse tradition that gave rise to the runes. In fact, some runes appear in the main spiral here, I see. And like tarot images, each of the runic characters, for me, encompasses a meaning that goes beyond a simple sign. Now, in the old days, the only ones who knew how to read this runic alphabet were the priests and priestesses, who were called rune masters. Now, I personally consider the word rune to mean holy secret or mystery. And in this sense, the rune masters were the holders of holy secrets, and they had the ability to look into the invisible order. The underlying plan consisting of being able to perceive and read the web, the patterns that create our destiny, and from what they are woven from. Here, I think we can refer to it simply as reading the web, and define it as the ability to see patterns of karma, psychic and psychological structure, environmental influences, and essentially everything that goes into making up things the way they are. Now, the descending spiral in this card here, I think, represents new energies being made available to you at this time. And this spiral interpenetrates and feeds the larger spiral, which represents the web of life. And for me, this image suggests that higher energies are being infused into life with the purpose of helping life wake up. And I think this card has turned up here for you because it is an invitation for you to further develop your ability to access and read this web. Now, I also think that what is going to happen to you from a divination point of view is that this is a time in which you will obtain a clear insight into a problem, and you'll be working quickly to set goals and not let anything get in your way. This may nevertheless be a restless period where you are transitioning and trying to get somewhere else, either internally or in your everyday life, such as travel or something. It's time to listen to the head rather than the heart, I think. And this can sometimes refer to someone who can be more comfortable in their head rather than in expressing their feelings. But I think that this person here speaks to me of a sort of a restlessness in all aspects of life. It may be that you want to break free from something. Now, in a relationship, this can sometimes represent that love-hate scenario that we see, where You might know of somebody who they're in love with the person, they get together, they fight and argue and break up, and then they can't live without each other, and they get back together, they fight and argue and break up, and this goes on and on and on until finally someone says, well, who signed up for this? Not me. I think you should say this. I know my goal, and I know what I am working towards. Each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. Yeah, very interesting for you at this time, I think, isn't it? But a very good time for you, because all these cards coming down here in particular are very, very good. Let's have a look at this card here, the Seven of Wands, and see what it is that it has to say for you. Now, well, let's have a look at the lighting. There we go. The Seven of Wands. 7. Incident, this talks about, well, going to angels. Well, I wonder what that might mean. 7, incidentally, has a very good association with the planet, with a metaphysical area that we mystics refer to as victory. So I think that you will have some difficulties. You'll need to dig deep, but I think you'll have victory here. But anyway, let's look at the card itself for the time being and see what it has to say to me. Going towards angels. Well, in the picture, a woman walks among flowers, opening up to her angelic guide, while nature spirits flit about. Her crown center and heart are open, and she is receiving the energy offered to her. Now, the 7th or crown chakra is where we open up to the spiritual world. You probably already know that. Now, there are many dimensions to the spirit world. One of the more easily accessible is the Devic, or angelic kingdom. Now, Deva is a Sanskrit word meaning shining one, and in English we might call this an angel. Devas are the 5th dimensional beings who can choose to manifest in a form recognizable to humans. Now, some people say that form has wings or a radiating light issuing from the heart that we may perceive as wings. You may have heard of angels helping people in need, the helpful stranger who suddenly appears at the side of the road and then mysteriously disappears after performing some necessary function. Well, they're sometimes recognized later as being an angel. And angels have been credited with preventing many accidental and premature deaths, and with pulling strings behind the scenes to make things happen. It is said that they won't interfere with the soul's growth, and they will not, by removing obstacles that you need to overcome. But they are otherwise eager helpers when their assistance is requested. Now, recognizing this behind-the-scenes support can help you to embrace life, because you know that you are guided and protected, and that the hardships that come to you are there to strengthen you. But talking about these hardships that may be there to strengthen you, let me just say this. There is the likelihood, I think, at this time that you feel as if you are perhaps fighting a losing battle in relation to something, and that it's only your courage that is keeping you going. Maybe you haven't been dealt the best hand, and even perhaps things in the background don't appear to be going well, but there is work being undertaken in the background, because those things which are being thrown up to you, there is nothing provided to you that you do not have the strength to overcome and to grow from. And those things which are not meant to be there, then those angels do work to avoid the unnecessary obstacle, the premature death, the wrongful illness. You may feel in relation to something as if you are on a sinking ship. Now, this in a relationship setting can mean that you are experiencing some problems and running out of energy and ideas as to how to keep sustaining the relationship. Or if it's something which is to do with your work, you may feel that you are coming to the end of your tether. Being true to yourself, standing up for your own truth, even in the face of immense resistance, is what this is speaking about, and trusting your power. In the present situation, I feel that you must assert yourself at all costs. And are you ready to accept all the consequences? Become aware of whatever fears have prevented you until now from asserting yourself. Say this to yourself: I express my own reality openly and honestly. Well, let's have a look at this. I'm going to leave the star card up here till last. Now let's have a look at this card here. Oh, this is interesting. What's this saying? Put your glasses on, Nigel. The light of introspection. Okay. The light of introspection. What does that mean for me? The light of introspection. What does it mean for me, for you? Well, here we have Major Arcana number 9. Now, this arcana has traditionally been depicted as a lone hermit carrying a lantern. And it represents someone who's gone their own way and discovered spiritual wisdom. Now, in this particular deck, it seems that the solitary male figure, who usually represents the hermit in tarot, has been replaced by the image of the crone. 2 young women in the foreground are doing a ritual honor to her. This is a reminder that others can participate with you in your journey. Certainly a large part of the crone's wisdom comes from introspection and solitude. Yet these can take place within the context of community, so you don't have to lock yourself away and be a monk. The crone doesn't need to be alone, and she doesn't need to be with others constantly. She moves backwards and forwards in a natural rhythm between solitude and community, bringing the wisdom from her inner search to enrich her relationship with others. She becomes of service to others, not by leaving herself behind, but by being herself fully. Now, in the picture, the crone is absorbed in an inward state by the look of it. There is a look of serenity on her face. She has no need to call attention to herself or advertise her wisdom. Content with her inner wealth that she has discovered, she is also happy to share it with those who are interested. And I notice that this scene takes place under a night sky, when ordinary consciousness is dimmed. We more easily open to other ways of knowing. The moon, that you can see there, is a symbol of feminine consciousness and intuition, and it is present in its various cycles. Yes, the prophetess of the eternal, the mistress of the voice eternal. What does it say? I think that it means that you need to get away from a situation in order to get a better insight into it. And I think it also means that you're going to be becoming aware of something of which you were previously in the dark. You might well be spending some alone time, some soul-searching and recalibration of yourself. I think it really is a time for you, to get in touch with some of your untapped wisdom. I think that it's also saying that you want a significant relationship or you want nothing at all. And I think it also is saying that you need to get things sorted out and organized before moving forward with new things. I think you'll be very gifted in an artistic sense here. You'll be a very good organizer, because I see a lot of Virgo around this card. I think it's also a time for you to look after your body and spruce up your surroundings. I think it's also the case that you may well find that you are a counselor or motivator to other people, But when you are alone, accept your aloneness and don't concern yourself with people who don't understand you, who would rather see you be a part of the herd, if you know what I mean. If you should meet a wise leader or teacher, then join her or him. and ask yourself this question: do you have any unresolved situations or relationships in your life? Make a list of all the situations which you now wish to resolve or in some way bring to a completion, because whoever embarks on the search for the internal light must not be encumbered by unresolved conflicts. Accounts, at the end of the day, always need to be settled. But have this thought in mind: I enjoy the feeling of completion and resolution. I will not compromise that which is important to me. And I also enjoy my aloneness because I can stop being alone whenever I choose. Well, let's have a look, shall we, finally, at this card here, the Star. And what a great card it is for you to have this energy. There really isn't a bad side to it. What's the thing on the side? Guiding light. Well, guiding light indeed. What does that mean? Well, here, in the darkness of the night, stars provide guiding light. I think that this energy represents guidance, not so much for daily life, but for your soul's evolution. Now, in the picture, the light of the star is echoed in the candlelight which the woman brings into her heart. We might say she is taking guidance to heart, or feeling in her heart for guidance. The warmth of the light stands in contrast to the wintry landscape, doesn't it? It reminds us that even in those times that we feel most desolate, help is available to you. Now, one way to describe this level of guidance is to say the guidance comes from what I call home and draws us towards itself. What could more reliably steer us home than something that comes directly from home? It is as if this home naturally sends a signal. But what do I mean by home? Well, it has been called being, essence, the divinity, God. It is not a location so much as a vibration, a mode of being. And you can enter into the inner chambers of the heart and be surrounded by it, or you can find it in your life if you're tuned into it. The star has a lot of Aquarius here, and Aquarius is the fixed sign of air, and they can be quite detached in a way, although they are fighters and stand up for humanitarian causes. But I think when this card has come up in this position and with this particular deck, it means that it's often an indication, I think, that guidance wants to be acknowledged, right? It may be that you've been proceeding as if guidance doesn't exist, or this may be a time when your reception is clearer. Do you know what I mean? This energy here is also a reminder that the universe cares about you and wants to support your soul's unfoldment, just as what I call home is always beckoning. The soul is always trying to unfold. Whatever actions you take to support this unfoldment will be supported by that larger, loving intelligence. Yeah, I really feel that this is a time when you are going to be feeling fulfilled and inspired by life. It is a reminder for you to follow your dreams and to follow that which gives you most inspiration. Be open to love and trust creation and what it brings. And encouragement is now being given that although you have had some testing times, and you have, haven't you, then now is the time to move forward with renewed hope and live an inspired life where you can express yourself fully. Have this thought in mind: I am a radiant light being. I am a star that walks upon a bigger star. I see what can be of benefit to myself and to other people around me. What a really great set of cards for you, Aries. Well done. That's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, the month of August in 2020 for you, and it looks like it's going to be a great month, and I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I did providing it to you. It's my great pleasure to provide these readings to you, you know. Actually, if you do want to have a personal reading, check out the information that's in the description box below and you can see how easy it is. But in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you again next month, and until then, always remember this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.